Bulking up without getting fat. Surely it's too good to be true. Gaining 10, 20, 30 kilos of muscle while staying lean and not doing a cut. It must be impossible, right? Well, it's not as impossible as it seems. Everyone always told me I just need to eat more and eat any food I could find, whether it's junk food, donuts, chocolates. But I knew there was another way, a more sustainable way, where I could stay lean year round and gain muscle. Ever since I started my journey when I was 55 kilos, I've always maintained a muscular aesthetic physique. As you can see here, month by month, year by year, I gained up to 35 kilos without needing to do a cut or losing my abs. I've also helped my clients Nathan, Bartek, and many others do the same. Number 1, more food equals more gains. And this is an old school bodybuilder mentality that you just need to eat more and eat more and eat more. And this is true to a degree. However, after a certain point, the increased amount of food will actually lead to an increased level of fat rather than muscle. And when you have excess layers of fat, it makes it a lot harder to track your muscle growth. This can mean it's easy to cut down too early and become skinny fat, and then you're constantly having to yo-yo between bulking phases, cutting phases to get your desired weight, which in turn takes a lot longer. Whereas with a lean bulk, if you do it correctly, you don't need to cut. So don't be too impatient with the food, just gradually bump it up. The second mistake, not tracking numbers. Now, knowing how much calories you need to eat is super important. If you underestimate, you'll stay skinny, and if you overestimate, you'll get fat. So you need to know how much calories you need to be eating. So start to track your calories and start to track your weight. I would do this on a daily approach because your weight can often fluctuate. For your weight, if it's staying at the same level for weeks and weeks, then I would increase the calories by around 100, 200 and gradually bump it up. And the third mistake, chasing a number. Now, so many guys get over fixated on a certain number and a weight goal. And of course, it's really good to set a goal and that's important. However, your weight isn't the biggest indicator of your progress. Your actual body composition and your structure is your biggest indicator of your progress. So how your muscle mass, body fat percentage, and your physique look. Cool. So now with the mistakes out of the way, let's get onto the game plan. So the nutrition and the training. For the nutrition, you need to make sure that your body fat percentage is fairly low before you start. So if you're 15% body fat or lower, then you're all good to go. However, if you're above 15% body fat, I'd recommend doing a cut first before starting the lean bulk. Once you're lean enough, then you can calculate your maintenance calorie levels. So this is based off of your daily calorie expenditure from walking, working, day-to-day activities, and ultimately how much calories your body burns in a day. Once you get that number, you want to eat 200 to 400 calories above that so that you're in a small calorie surplus. Now that you've got your calorie targets, let's take a look at what the diet consists of. You want to prioritize healthy whole foods, and there's 3 different macronutrients that all foods are made of. So protein, carbs, and fats. For protein, you can go for things like beef, salmon, chicken, and eggs. For carbs, rice, pasta, and bread. Fats, olive oil, peanut butter, and cheese. All just natural, healthy, whole foods. As an example, as a lean bulk, all day of eating, for breakfast, you could go for something like eggs on toast. For lunch, beef fried rice with peas. And for dinner, a creamy chicken pasta dish. And as your snack, homemade peanut butter and banana protein shake. So just because it's healthy doesn't mean that your meals can't be tasty. With making good progress, it all comes down to structure, just like with my client Nathan, who managed to gain 7 kilos while staying lean and muscular. This is exactly what I help my clients with, to build an aesthetic body with tasty meals and a work-friendly routine. So if you wanted to find out more, just click the first link in the description. Anyways, with the diet, it's very important to have minimal added sugars like cupcakes, donuts. You want to avoid these type of foods, and you also want to avoid processed food, things like chips, burgers, because they're high in saturated fat but low in quality nutrients. In terms of protein, you want to go for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 140 pounds, you need to eat 140 grams of protein per day. Cool. With the nutrition out the way, now we can get on to the training. With the training, your intensity is going to be the most important factor, because if you're not training intensely enough, then you're not going to progressively overload. And without progressive overload, you won't build muscle. Since we're bulking and consuming a lot more food, this would turn to gaining fat rather than lean muscle due to the lack of intensity. So with your lifts, it's super important that you train close, if not to failure. Here's an example of how you can know if you're really training hard enough. Person A rocks up to the gym. His program says 3 sets of 8. So he picks up a comfortable weight and goes straight into his set. All 8 reps were comfortable. He had more reps in the tank, but stopped at 8, as that's what his program said. He ended up doing the same weight for all 3 sets. Person B rocks up to the gym. His program also says 3 sets of 8. So in this case, he picks up a weight that feels semi-comfortable for the first 4 to 5 reps. But the last 3 to 4 reps are extremely challenging and near to his limit. His facial expressions are all over the place. His arms are starting to struggle, and even his form is breaking a little. However, he's still maintaining a decent level of form. In his next set, he can't hit the same reps. He uses the same weight. Now, person B is the best example of how to train. Provided that your form is still good and you're not ego lifting like a maniac, you want to push yourself to failure or very close to failure. In terms of the best exercises to do, here are 6 must-do exercises that I would include: lateral raises, a type of row, a bicep curl, incline press, squat, and hamstring curls. And of course, train each muscle group twice per week and stay as consistent as you can. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you wanted to find out a bit more about my coaching, just click the first link in the description. Anyways, drop a like, drop a subscription, and right here, I'll leave a video with my complete lean bulking shopping list from Aldi. So yeah, I'll catch you next time.